Hey all, the purpose of this video is to show you how you can finance and purchase a rental property in Florida without having to show income. The idea is we're going to show the income from what the rental property will bring in as rent, and we can do that using a DSCR loan with 1 to 4 units. So this is just an informational video. Quick disclaimer to start with: I am licensed as a real estate broker in the state of Florida. So I'm qualified to help you find the deals, to help you walk you through the process. If you have any additional questions about loan products themselves, I'd be happy to point you towards a qualified lender who can help you with that process. So, um, second disclaimer: real estate involves risk. I do invest using these loans, and it's not without risk. Also, the reward is potentially very great as well. So we'll talk about that as well. Um, so let's go ahead and start here. And a DSCR loan stands for debt service coverage ratio. Again, we're just going to use market rental income to qualify us for the loan. Usually, when a lender offers a loan like this, they're only going to qualify you based on long-term income. So, for example, if you have a 12-month lease and a tenant that pays you every month the same amount, say $2,000 a month for a long-term living situation, you're going to be able to use that towards qualifying for the loan. Now, if you have the same property, but you say you're going to bring in $5,000 a month as a VRBO or Airbnb, a short-term rental, they're not going to use that towards qualifying for the loan. They're only going to want long-term leases only. This is an example. This is a picture of a property that I purchased with my partners recently using a DSCR loan. So this is possible. It is cool. It kind of feels like cheating when you qualify for a loan without showing your income. But it's a great way to start to get ahead and to invest in real estate. So basic requirements. The first is you must own your primary residence. The lenders don't want you to use a DSCR loan for your primary residence because that's risky. You can't qualify to buy a house using the income that you're going to pay in rent. That's circular reasoning. So they do require you to own your own home first. When we did our DSCR loan last month, they even called my lender and they got on a three-way call. They wanted to make sure we're current on our payments. That was the underwriting department, and they will verify that you own your own home. Okay. Um, Secondly, there's a credit requirement. They do run your credit. They're not looking at your debt, so your debt to income is not going to matter. You can be completely maxed out on debt to income and still qualify for a DSCR loan, which is really the power of this. We can scale. We can get more than one of these. We can buy we could get 5 DSCR loans and maybe we buy a duplex with each one and then we'll have 10 doors. This is possible. Okay. Uh, the lender is going to run your credit to determine rate. Usually, when you're up into the 700s and 800s, you're going to get the best rates. It's possible to qualify in the 600s. You're going to want to talk to a lender to have a specific number that you need to qualify for. Down payment requirement, they're going to have you put 15% down minimally. I found that if we put 20% down, we get a much better rate, that it was really worth putting 20% down on a loan. Minimum loan amounts are $100,000. So if the minimum loan amount is $100,000 and you're going to put 20% down, then you're going to be looking at properties that are valued $125,000 plus, which in the current market is not hard to do. Okay. This was a surprise to me. With the DSCR loan, there's a prepayment penalty. Our loan started with a 5-year prepayment penalty. Now you can buy that down to 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, or 1 year, just like you would buy down an interest rate. The prepayment penalty is 5% of the prepayment amount. So if we went and sold the place tomorrow and paid off the entire loan, we would owe 5% of the entire remaining loan balance as a penalty. Okay, and that's quite a bit of money. So we plan on keeping it long term. So we settled with a 4-year prepayment penalty because it didn't really cost us anything to go down to 4 years. So just be aware of that. There is some commitment there. And then this was another surprise. A basic requirement is, in addition to your down payment, the lender is going to ask you to show assets to cover the payment for 6 months. And this makes sense to the lender because if you buy a property, and let's say there's not a tenant in there, or maybe the tenant doesn't make their payment, the lender wants to make sure that you have assets that you could use. They're not looking at your income, but they want to see that you have money that you could cover the payment. So if the payment was $2,000, they're going to ask to see 6 months of payments, which would be what 2,000 times 6 months would be $12,000 in some type of account. It could be a checking account, savings account. We showed them an investment account. The underwriter also asked us to see uh, the terms that for withdrawal, if we would have to pay a fee at withdrawal, if we were allowed to withdraw it early, if we needed to use it to cover that payment. So just be aware that that is a requirement. Okay, this is an example. Now, this is something that we can sit down and do when you decide to look for your first investment property. An example of the finances on a 30-year loan. Now, with the DSCR loan, kind of plan, and you can call your lender and ask them what the rates are like, but they're about 1 percentage point higher than the rates of a standard conventional loan. So we figure if the rate's at 6.75%, you might be looking at a 7.75% on a DSCR loan. So this is on a $250,000 purchase. We've got 20% down, which is 50,000, which means your starting loan amount is $200,000. Okay, your principal and interest on a 30-year note comes to $1,432.82. And we're just going to go ahead and approximate for your taxes and insurance will be taken out and put in an escrow account. Um, and then the lender will go ahead and pay that taxes and insurance annually when they're due. And that will be included in your payment. So I'm estimating that our payment on this uh, $250,000 house is going to come out to $1,807.82. Now, as an investor, you're also going to want to think about is how much money do I need? Am I going to ask the tenant to uh, do lawn care, or am I going to pay lawn care on top of that? Is how much money do I want monthly for repairs? Let's say if the air conditioner goes out, we're going to have to pay for that. If the roof goes bad, we're going to have to pay for that. So, as a general rule of thumb, a lot of investors use the 1% rule, which means if the purchase price was 250,000, I would like to get $2,500 per month in order to make the investment make sense from a cash flow perspective. That in this case, that would mean we would be cash flowing positive $700 a month, which would be pretty good. Now, the last thing to consider is time and inflation will be your friend. Okay. What that means is, let's say that this property today only rented out for, let's say, $2,000 a month. Okay. That'd be pretty tight. You're only going to bring in a positive $200 a month. But what happens 12 months from now is, let's say the rental market rental incomes go up and you raise the rent to $2,100 a month or 2,050. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, you might be charging $3,000 a month in rent, and your total payment's not really going to change. Okay, the taxes and the insurance could change a little bit, but that principal and interest is not going to change. And so the idea is we're making an investment now that's going to get us by, and in 15 years from now, it's going to start bringing in some real money as far as cash flowing. And also, two other things will happen. You're going to be paying down that $200,000 loan amount during that time, and the value of the property will be increasing. So that $250,000 purchase is going to grow at maybe 4% per year, which is the US long-term average. So in the next 15 years, it could easily double. It might be worth 500,000 down the road. So if you're still here, then really this conversation is worth continuing. And so, this is a cartoon of me giving a high five to an investor. Um, but yeah, if you're still here, the conversation is worth continuing. Feel free to DM me, call, email, text, reach out, and I'd be happy to chat with you about the next steps in purchasing your next investment property or properties or anything of the sort. So thanks for your time. Have a great day and look forward to seeing you down the road. Bye.